Hello friends, welcome to UGPG Mathematics. In this video, we are going to discuss some questions from DU Mathematics Entrance Exam 2019. So let us start. The first question is the series summation n runs from 1 to infinity minus 1 raised to n divided by n raised to p. The options are converges for all values of p. Second option is converges for p greater than 0, diverges for p less equal 0. Third option is does not converge for any value of p, and last option is converges for p greater than 1 and diverges for p less equal 1. So just in order to solve this question, just note that this series is an alternating series. Why? Because we can write this series as summation n runs from 1 to infinity minus 1 raised to n an, where this an is equal to 1 upon n raised to p, and note that this an is strictly greater than 0. Why? Because this n is positive, so n raised to p is positive, so 1 upon n raised to p is positive. So this series has the form summation n runs from 1 to infinity minus 1 raised to n times an. So this is an alternating series. So whenever we want to check the convergence for an alternating series, there is a test called Leibniz test, which is given by a well-known mathematician, Leibniz. So this says that if we have this alternating series, then with this we have limit an as n tends to infinity is equal to 0. And second condition is that if the sequence an is non-increasing sequence, then if these two conditions are satisfied by this series, by this an, then we call this, in this condition, in this case we call this minus 1 raised to n times an is convergent series. So we just have to check for which values of this p these two conditions are satisfied, right? So now here just note that, so this is important. So just note that when this p is strictly greater than 0, then we know that this limit as n tends to infinity of 1 by n raised to p is 0, right? That means what? Limit of an is equal to 0, and this is our an. So limit an is equal to 0, so this condition is satisfied, first condition. Now let's check this an is non-increasing or not. So let us take n from natural numbers, so n plus 1 is strictly greater than n, right? So take positive power, p is greater than 0, so this n plus 1 raised to p is greater than n raised to p, so take the reciprocal, you get n plus this 1 upon n plus 1 raised to p is less than 1 upon n raised to p. So that means this a n plus 1 is less than an, right? And this holds for this all n belongs to n, right? So this an is non-increasing sequence. So second condition is also satisfied by this an, and hence the series, this alternating series converges for p greater than 0, right? Now the second case is that this p is equal to 0 and p less than 0, right? These are the all values for p. So let us try to find this series converges for p equal to 0 or not. So when we put p is equal to 0, this series just minus 1 raised to n and runs from 1 to infinity, right? Because n raised to p means n raised to 0, which is equal to 1. This is just divided by 1, so this is equal to minus 1 raised to n, and we know that this is a divergent series, because note that this limit as n tends to infinity of this minus 1 raised to n this sequence is oscillating sequence, so this limit is never 0, right? So by divergence test, this series is a divergent series. So this series diverges for p is equal to 0, right? Now when p is less than 0, so take this case p less than 0, then this an is just equal to, so p less than 0 means what? Take p is equal to minus of some c number where this c is strictly greater than 0, right? So this, in this case, an becomes 1 upon n raised to p. So but p is minus c, so take minus c, which is just same as n raised to c, right? Now take limit. So limit as n tends to infinity of an is same as limit n tends to infinity of n raised to c. Now note that this c is positive, right? So as n tends to infinity, we are taking the positive power of n, so this tends to infinity, right? So limit of an is not 0, right? That means this series is divergent series for p less than 0, right? So here also p, this series diverges for p less than 0. So we have the series is convergent for p greater than 0 and it diverges for p equal to 0 and less than 0. So let us check the option. This is convergent for p greater than 0 and diverges for p less equal 0. So this second option is the correct option. Let us solve the next question. Let A and B be two permutations in S5 and let C is equal to A inverse the cycle 1 2 A and D is equal to B inverse 1 2 and 3 4. These are two cycles B. Then the first option is both C and D are even. Second is both C and D are odd. Then third is C is even and D is odd. Last is C is odd and D is even. So here just note that if we have any permutation, say sigma in Sn, then in order to find out this sigma is even or odd, let us first write sigma as product of transpositions or two cycles. So suppose sigma is equal to epsilon 1, epsilon 2 and so on up to epsilon k. That means sigma is product of k transpositions, where this epsilon I is transposition. Now if this k is even, then sigma is even, right? If these transpositions are number of transpositions is even, then sigma is even permutation. And if this k is odd, then we call this sigma as odd permutation, right? Now there is an important notion, signature. So signature is just a function from this group Sn to the group plus minus 1. Note that this plus minus 1 is just a group under multiplication. And this signature function is defined on this Sn as you take any sigma, then signature of sigma is just equal to, when we express this sigma as product of transpositions, this is just equal to minus 1 raised to k, right? Where this k is number of transpositions. So now there are two cases. If this k is even, then minus 1 raised to a power k which is even, this is just equal to 1, right? And if this k is odd, then minus 1 raised to odd power means it is minus 1, right? So this is equivalent to sigma is even if and only if the signature of sigma is, this k is even, means this is even permutation. So sigma is even if this signature is 1. Similarly, sigma is odd if and only if this signature is -1. Right. Now note that this signature function is homomorphism. So we have the signature of, you take any permutation G, take its inverse, then take any sigma permutation, then G, signature of G inverse sigma G is same as signature of sigma. What is this G inverse sigma G? In general, if we take any G and sigma, these are permutations in Sn, then G inverse sigma G is called a conjugate of the permutation sigma. Right. So we have signature of this conjugate of A, sigma, is same as signature of sigma, where sigma is any permutation in Sn. So if this sigma is odd, then in fact it is if and only if, then G inverse sigma G is odd, and similarly if sigma is even, if and only if this G inverse sigma G is even. Right. So we just have to find out this is even or odd in order to find out this C is even or odd, which is equivalent to find out this cycle 1 2 is even or odd, right? Because this A inverse cycle 1 2 A is just same as the conjugate of this cycle 1 2, right? So it is just one transposition. So this transposition is odd, right? Because here k is just equal to 1. 1 is odd, so this is odd permutation. So this C is odd permutation, right? So C is odd. Now look at this D. D is just, so this D is just a conjugate of these two cycles. This permutation is even permutation, right? Because here k is 2, which is even. So this is even permutation, which is same as this D is even permutation, right? So C is odd and D is even. So fourth option is the correct option. Let us solve the next question. Let A be a 3 by 3 matrix over R with characteristic polynomial P of lambda is equal to lambda into lambda minus 1 into lambda minus 3. Consider the following statements. First statement is A is not invertible. Second is there are 3 eigenvectors forms a basis of R3. Then third is each eigenspace of A is one dimensional. And fourth statement is the linear system A minus 3i times x is equal to b has a unique solution for each b in R3. And the options are, the first option is only the second and third statements are true. Then second option is only second, third and fourth statements are true. Then third is only first and second statements are true. And last is only first, second and third statements are true. So let us solve this. Now here we have given that this is characteristic polynomial for the matrix A, and A is a 3 by 3 matrix over R, right? Now from this, the characteristic values or eigenvalues of the matrix A are clearly 0, 1 and 3, right? And these are distinct eigenvalues. So just note this result. If we have distinct eigenvalues, then the corresponding eigenvectors for these distinct eigenvalues are linearly independent. So this gives eigenvectors are linearly independent. So now for each eigenvalue, we get some eigenvector. Say there exists V1, which is eigenvector corresponding to 0. For 1, there exists V2, which is eigenvector obtained from this eigenvalue 1, and say V3, which is eigenvector obtained from this lambda is equal to 3. So lambda equal to 0, lambda 1, lambda 2 equal to 1, lambda 3 is equal to 3, which is obtained from lambda 3 is equal to 3. And now these are distinct eigenvalues, and therefore these vectors are linearly independent. So this V1, V2, V3 is a linearly independent set. Right. Now we know that this A is 3 by 3 matrix. So A has at most 3 linearly independent eigenvectors, and these are 3 in numbers. So these are the only eigenvectors for this matrix A. So this eigenspace corresponding to 0 is just equal to span of the eigenvector V1, and similarly eigenspace corresponding to lambda equal to 1, lambda 2 equal to 1, which is E1, is just equal to span of this vector V2, and similarly eigenspace corresponding to this lambda 3 is equal to 3 is just equal to span of this V3, right? So now note that the dimension for this is just equal to, take the cardinality of V1, right? Because it is just span of V1. So dimension of E0, the eigenspace corresponding to lambda is equal to 0, is 1. Similarly dimension of E1 is equal to 1. Similarly the dimension of this space E3 is equal to 1, right? There is just one vector. So here dimension of each eigenspace is 1, right? So look at this option, each eigenspace of A is one dimensional. So this is true. Now just note that from here we have the eigenvalues are just 0, 1, 2. So determinant is just the product of eigenvalues, right? And one of the eigenvalues is 0, hence determinant of A is equal to 0. So A is not invertible. That means this is also true. Now second option is this second statement is there are 3 eigenvectors which forms the basis of R3. So from here clearly this is a linearly independent set, right? And these are 3 numbers. This set contains 3 linearly independent eigenvectors, and we know that the dimension of R3 over R is equal to 3, and this is linearly independent set, and hence this forms a basis of the space R3. So this is also true. Now the linear system A minus 3i times x is equal to b has a unique solution for each b in R3. So for this we need a result. It says that this system Cx is equal to b has unique solution if and only if this matrix C is invertible, and which is same as if and only if this rank of C is 3. I am considering this C is 3 by 3 matrix because we are here. So if and only if the nullity of C is 0. the linear system, this a minus 3i times x is equal to b, has unique solution by this result if and only if this nullity of a minus 3i, this matrix, is equal to 0, right? So just check that this nullity is 0 or not. Now from here, this e minus 3i, so e3 is just equal to set of all v in R3 such that AV is equal to 3v, right? So which is same as a minus 3i times v equal to 0, right? And we have seen that this dimension is 1, so, and this is just equal to null space of a minus 3i, right? Because a minus 3i times v equal to 0 gives us null space of a minus 3i. So nullity of this a minus 3i, dimension of this space is same as dimension of this space, but this is just equal to 1, right? So clearly this nullity is not 0. Nullity is not 0, and therefore the system a minus 3i times x is equal to b has no unique solution, right? So this fourth option is not true, and hence this first statement, second and third statements, these are the only correct statements. So this fourth option is the correct option. Thank you for watching this video. Please like, share and subscribe if you find this useful. Thank you.